Hey, what's up, guys? It's Dominique Prize Pictures. I know it's been quite a long time since I've uploaded a video to this channel. I've been working on my other channel, the sole proponent. I'm not sure if anyone's interested, but I will post a link in the description below if you're interested in looking at that channel. So I've been doing a lot of videos and not a lot of picture taken, mostly because my car broke down. It's not even working anymore, so I don't really get the opportunities like I used to go downtown and to take pictures and do my street photography like I've been doing on a regular basis. So it's kind of far and few in between right now, unfortunately for me. I do want to keep this photography channel updated and keep my photography going. It's a hobby and a passion of mine that I enjoy, and I don't want to just have it drop off a cliff. Now, since the last time I uploaded a video, my film taking days have been on a hiatus, on a pause. Film has gotten too expensive. I've shot a couple cameras, some other newer cameras that I got. I'm working on getting those pieces of film developed, but kind of don't have the money to do it right now. The resources are tied up going to other more important, urgent matters and bills and things. You know, life tends to get in the way, unfortunately, of the craft. But I do want to talk a little bit about an acquisition I picked up since my last video. I did pick up an EPL2 from Olympus, and this is the unit here. This is replacing my backup, which was my EM10, which died a few months ago. And as you can see, the grip had a little crack in it, so I put some Velcro, some white Velcro here over place, so it kind of makes it, doesn't feel as sticky, and hopefully it'll prevent it from cracking further. So that's one thing I did there. I put a thumb grip on there as well. I ordered this from Amazon or something, or eBay, one of them places. I put that thumb grip. It helps me to hold the camera a little bit easier. This is not the most ergonomic camera, but you know, I did at the same time put like a little cage. I had this cage I put this little L bracket on previously I was using it on a Panasonic GF1 that I had for a while, which I sold. And then when I got this, I thought to myself, what can I help? Really, I put this on to help it stand up when I put it on a table, because it'll tilt forward. If I put, depending on the lens, it'll tilt forward. So this helps it to stand on the table real easily, and it helps me with a little extra grip on this side if I need to. Like if I'm out and about, and I do a lot of, what's this, kind of vertical shooting, so it kind of helps with that. One thing about this camera that I don't like is that it doesn't, the orientation isn't automatically, it's not an automatic orientation sensor. So when you take a shot vertically, you have to go back and edit and rotate it inside of the camera, which is kind of a pain in the butt because I do a lot of vertical shooting. But for the money, I told myself I'll stick with it. And the reason I took this camera, I was looking at actually an EPL or EP3, but I noticed that that was a little bit more expensive. And then I was looking at the EP1 or the EPL1. I think it was the EP1, but that guy didn't have a flash, and this one has a pop-up flash, which I really like. I really like that it has a flash. I need a camera with a flash because now all I have is this and the EM1 Mark II. The EM1 Mark II doesn't have a flash. I was going to order a separate flash for it. Did some research. I ended up not buying one. I have a regular flash that I use, but it's really big and it looks a little bulky on top of this one. So I just decided to just not get a flash and just get this camera with a flash instead, because it comes in handy when I need it sometimes. And yeah, I've been using mostly my 45mm Zuiko lens on this camera. I do every now and then put the 35mm, or it's a 17 sorry, the 17 millimeter f1.8, but I actually leave that locked on my EM1 for my street photography mostly. And I leave this one locked on here mostly because it's more convenient when I'm going out on every day. This is like my everyday camera carry right here. This is my setup that I use on a daily basis when I'm out and about. On the weekends, I take out the EM1 Mark II with the 17 and I do my street photography with that, and I do my videos with this camera as well. So it's been being put to use, not as much as before, but kind of have a little bit of a division of labor here, which helps things a little bit. Now I've decided also to get rid of some of my film cameras because I'm not really using them too much. The Rebel S here, and it's just a stock lens, 35 to 80. I got this camera and I was like, I put it through the paces. I think I put a roll of film through it. I haven't developed it yet though, so it works. I know that it takes pictures, but I haven't seen what the film looks like as it develops. I like this camera because it's light and it fits in my what is this? My what do they call it? Hex Ranger mini sling. Fits in there good. It's got its own little flash, which is kind of handy. The grip was okay. When I first came off the grip off the Nikon N60 camera, I was like, this sucks. But as I held it longer, it's like, oh, it's manageable. And it's slick. Like, you get in there, and I like the optical viewfinder, and it takes pictures really good. It's very professional, even though it's plastic, and you can see the mount. It's a plastic mount, so it's not like a professional camera, but it gets the job done. And if I were to choose any of the automated film cameras, I think this would be a good one to keep. The other film camera I keep is a automated film camera. I keep the second one is a Canon Tele 80, Sure Shot 80 Tele. And this one has two focal lengths. It's got like a 38 and an 80 millimeter focal length. So that's what I'm used to shooting. That's how I started shooting, and that's how I cut my teeth on those two focal lengths, near 35 and 80. Canon EF camera, which is I've been holding on to this guy forever. I just can't seem to get rid of her, even though she's beat up and dinged. She works good, and I just enjoy this. The lenses is what really does it. I've got a 28 millimeter on here, and I've got a 50 millimeter and a 135 millimeter for this camera. And I love this shutter speed dial here. I'm noticing myself shooting more and more in shutter priority, and this here just is really, just that by itself really, I just love that dial right there, and just, it's really easy. And you can see that the shutter speed in the viewfinder too, so it's really good. This one works sporadically. The light meter, it tends to drain the batteries though if I leave the batteries in there, so I take them out. The Olympus OM1, the original here, with the 50 millimeter f1.8 lens, and I cut my lenses down. I had a couple other lenses that I just had randomly, and I'm gonna give those lenses away. I don't need them. I'm thinking I'm gonna stick to this as my one vintage lens that I use on a regular basis. The reason is because the way it feels and the way it renders the bokeh, and I like the colors. It's just a natural looking, natural feeling image that it comes out with on this lens. I have it right now set up to adapt, and I've adapted it a lot to this EPL2 camera. And what I've also done is, I can't remember where I got this from, but this is like a 10 times macro converter lens. I don't know if you can see that there. It says macro. And I put this on this vintage lens and I take pictures with this, and I've come up with only one good picture so far because I'm still kind of experimenting with it. But when I want to do something different, this is kind of what I'm picking up. I like macros. I didn't want to actually get a macro lens. It's a couple $100. I could spend the money on it, but I thought to myself, since I have a vintage lens and I have this here, this 10 times converter, I can't remember where, if I bought this or if it came with something. I think it came on some other camera that I bought somewhere, and I thought to myself, let me adapt it. Now, I had to get a step down ring because it doesn't match the, I can't remember what, how many millimeters the ring that goes on this camera is, or on this lens is. I think it's 52. Okay, so this is a 46 to a 52 millimeter step down ring. I'm not sure if you can see the writings on there, but so that's what I use, and I've been dabbling with it and having fun just to change things up a little bit. The OM1 camera, I did take a roll of, I shot a roll of Fujifilm. I don't even think I got through the whole roll, but I got this Ryko Caddy half frame camera, and I shot, like, this is like going through 72 pictures, and I probably got through like maybe 50, and then I just rewounded it because it was taking so long. I was like, ugh. It's like, I don't care. I just want to check to see if it works, and I don't want to have to wait that long. But probably should have, in retrospect, just went through the whole roll because it's sitting there now and hasn't been developed. This is a Ryko Caddy half frame. I like this one so far. The viewfinder is a little dim because it's so old, and I can't tell if it's actually working correctly because when I go to rewind, this is where you rewind or you do advance the film after you take a picture. I don't know if it's rewinding correctly or not. It feels like it's not. So I hope this thing works. I can't tell until I get the film developed. I'm just gonna keep it until further notice. It's a real handy camera because it fits in my pocket easy, but that viewfinder is a little dim and it's squashed. And then my last camera, film camera, is this Konica Auto S2, and this is one of my favorites that I like to use. And I put a roll of film in here. I have not developed it, so I don't know if it works. I'm pretty sure it does. The way everything's been operating on here has been good. The viewfinder is pretty clear, but it could use a cleaning because it's a little dim, and you can tell it's not brand new, but it works pretty good so far. I like this camera. I like the way it feels. I like to hold it. This is a sharp lens. I love the rendering of Konica lenses. This Konica and between that and this Olympus here. So this lens is not interchangeable, unfortunately. It sticks on here. It stays on this camera, but this is interchangeable. Between these two lenses, I think I have everything I need, everything covered, and these lenses work good at the apertures I like, near like f8 or so, because doing street photography, you're not doing crazy bokeh. Now this camera, or this lens on this camera, doesn't have that good of a bokeh. So, but everything else, when you see the renderings on this, it's like this beautiful. It's like, that's exactly what I want my pictures to look like. And then this lens here is my ultimate, that if I could just have one lens, this would be it. And so I've kind of cut down my collection drastically. This Olympus one is the one that I like to use. I just like the rubber. I like the way it feels. It's solid. The aperture clicks really good. And one other funny thing about this is that the reason I picked this over even some of my FD lenses, my FD Canon lenses, is because the adapter, when I'm changing the aperture dial, it can easily unlock it, and I don't like that because it gets in the way and it makes me start to get worried. But this one doesn't have that problem. This one, for ergonomics, I like this one, and it renders good enough images for me that I like it. And I'm like, this is the colors and the style of images that it produces, to me, is just kind of on an everyday, regular basis. That's the way I would like my images to look. So between this lens, the Konica rangefinder and the Canon FDs, I can't go wrong. I got everything I need there. That's more than enough. Those other lenses don't need, I don't really need them. I don't think I'm gonna use them anymore. I want to just have a couple of few, maybe 3, 4, 5 good lenses and just use them and know them really well, than to have too much of a range and not become too much of a jack of all trades and not enough of a specialist. So, as I said, unfortunately, my channel for photography has not been going very good because I've not been able to be as mobile as I used to due to my car not working anymore. I do take the bus sometimes and go downtown when I can on the weekends, but it's starting to get to the point where it's diminishing marginal returns. It's starting not to be worth it anymore. It's tiring, it's taxing. I have to walk down the street, and it's just the weather. There's a bunch of factors in there that are, at this stage, my photography career, quote unquote, is stagnating a little bit, but I still take pictures. I still enjoy it, and I still want to share. When I do have some pictures to show, I'll upload them on my Flickr page. You can, hopefully I'll if I can remember to post the link down below. You can take a look at the images I've been making and producing. And I do want to try to stay relevant and keep you guys updated on what's happening on my channel. Any questions, comments, suggestions, y'all can leave down in the comments for me. And